Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day. So you've picked out a race from the player's handbook, and now you're on to the next section, which is the classes. But which class do you want to be? Well, that's where I come in. I'm here to help you find your footing with each class, starting with the swollest of the lot, the Barbarian. I will be talking about the subclasses found in the book, such as Xanathar's Guide and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, so remember to check them out for more details. But anyway, let's get started. Barbarian is a word the Greeks and Romans used to describe people from northern Europe that weren't part of the Empire. In the world of fantasy, it describes someone who gets so angry that they smash through everything on the battlefield. The Barbarian is so insanely swole that they don't need any of that shiny plate armor when the spears of their enemies bounce off their rippling pectorals. The primary ability of the Barbarian is Rage. You get so angry that you hit extra hard, gain resistance to damage, and have advantage on strength rolls. I'm a big fan of grappling one guy and then using him as a weapon to beat the other guy with. It only lasts for 1 minute and you can't cast magic while you're raging, but it does turn you into a powerhouse of pain. In addition, you get bonuses to critical hits, a spider sense to warn you of danger, and eventually you become just too angry to die. At their base, Barbarians are damage sponges that can give as good as they get, keeping the bad guy's attention and toughing through the worst the enemy has to offer. And they get lots of ways to break you, with their subclasses, the Primal Paths. The Path of the Berserker is your Barbarian 2.0. You get the Frenzy ability, which gets you extra mad when you rage, letting you attack more often. In addition, you can't be charmed or frightened, and it causes monsters, big and small, to shit their pants at the sight of your protein-packed rampage. This subclass suffers from one major flaw, however. When you use the Frenzy ability, you get 1 level of exhaustion when it ends. This might not sound bad, but exhaustion can only be cured by 1 level per long rest, and you will likely be using Frenzy multiple times between each long rest. Oh, and if you hit 6 levels of exhaustion, you die. No saving throws, no healing potions, just death. Even if you don't get to that point, the effects of exhaustion are detrimental to any character no matter how much they can lift. I would ask your DM to remove the exhaustion element of Frenzy altogether, or ask for the negative effects to be suspended while you're raging. Or maybe you don't care, in which case, rock on. The Berserker is great for anyone who wants to smash all the things. The Path of the Totem Warrior is a weird one. First, it gives you magic in the form of beast sense, speak with animals, and commune with nature spells as rituals. Then, your rage gives you a totem spirit that takes on the form of an eagle, elk, tiger, wolf, or my personal favorite, the bear. Bears are big, scary, and make you extra thick, turning you into a super tank. Elks help you go fast, tigers pounce onto things and won't let go, wolves hunt and help out your allies in battle, and eagles let you see far and fly around for a bit. Keep in mind you can mix and match your animal powers however you want, and all these powers will define how your barbarian plays, essentially letting you custom build a barbarian that isn't a one-trick bear, so you can play it however you like. Remember when I mentioned the Greeks? Well, they used to think that lightning came from a guy in the clouds who was really angry, and if you pick the path of the Storm Herald, you get to do just that. This path lets you channel your rage into literal forces of nature, after you pick a certain type of nature you want to imitate. Your choices are the desert, the tundra, and the sea. The desert makes you too hot to handle, letting you light things on fire, dealing fire damage to those around you, and gives you resistance to fire damage. The sea makes you resistant to lightning, lets you shoot lightning out your ass, and lets you toss people around. The tundra makes you immune to the cold, lets you freeze people in their tracks, and gives temporary HP to your allies. Your choice doesn't impact your playstyle that much, but it does give you some real flavor. Basically, pick desert if you want to deal damage, pick tundra if you want to be tankier, and pick sea if you want to have more battlefield control. The Storm Herald is for anyone who wants to pick up some nature and use that nature to punch some people in the face. Speaking of punching people in the face, why should you punch people in the face when you can summon a ghost to punch people in the face for you? The Path of the Ancestral Guardian is a barbarian that decided to take up ghost hunting, but when he didn't find anything, he got real mad and told the ghosts that if they don't show up, he'll beat them up in the afterlife. So now they have the spirits of their ancestors protecting them and their allies whenever the barbarian rages. The spirits predominantly protect your allies, causing enemies to miss attacks and deal less damage to anyone other than you, making you perfect at controlling the aggro of enemies. This gives you more freedom of movement, in that you no longer have to be right in front of the party to protect them. You can go off and murderize some goblins while the horrific ghost of your barbarian's great-great-grandfather lectures your enemies about what adventuring was like back in their day. But now I have a question for you. Are you a holy person? Do you kneel before God and ask for guidance? And is that guidance always pursue violence? If so, the path of the Zealot is right for you. Zealots are barbarians that have found Jesus and are now on an eternal crusade to kick ass for the Lord, and they are really good at their job. While raging, barbarians deal even more extra damage in the form of radiant or necrotic damage. They get to reroll saving throws, give you a free use of the Raise Dead spell, and can keep fighting at 0 HP until they fail their death saves. The Zealot Barbarian is the embodiment of insane righteous fury, and you will teach those monsters that the Lord giveth and the Lord smasheth into tiny pieces. This subclass does not change how the Barbarian plays, but it does give you increased damage and survivability. I find it's a very good alternative to the Berserker. The Path of the Beast turns your Barbarian into a literal party animal, as long as that party is a murder party. When you rage, you get an additional natural weapon in the form of claws, a bite, or a tail. You can swim, climb, or jump really good, you can spread your animalistic fury like rabies to the enemy, and you can give allies temporary hit points and bonus damage on their attacks until your rage ends. The best part about this subclass is that the natural weapon you can get changes each time you rage, and each one has an added side effect. Bite attacks can heal you, claws let you attack twice for free, and the tail gives you a small bonus to your armor class. I love natural weapons that have an extra feat or ability to them other than just deal damage, because most regular weapons can outmatch anything a natural weapon does, at least in terms of pure damage. The Path of the Beast is still a par for the course barbarian, but it does give you some nice options for murderizing all of the enemies. If you feel like barking at the moon, pick the Path of the Beast. But maybe you don't think your barbarian is pointy enough. In that case, check out the Battle Rager. These barbarians let go their unarmored defense in favor of armor that is covered head to toe in scary spikes. These spikes deal extra damage to anyone that gets too close, is hit by the Battle Rager, and will also impale anyone that you grapple, turning you into a living Iron Maiden. Sadly, this armor is not as strong as your unarmored defense, so you swap armor for damage, making you more reliant on the resistances to damage that your rage give you. And I also know it says in the Sword Coast Adventures guide that the Battle Rager is a dwarf-only subclass, but you can ignore that, everyone does. The Battle Rager is perfect for anyone who wants to put a ton of holes into their enemies. Finally, the Path of Wild Magic is one that I really hope to play in the future. Wild Magic Barbarians are those who have been infused with the unpredictable powers of magic. When you rage, you roll on a Wild Magic table and get a benefit depending on what you roll. The effects can range from teleporting around the battlefield to becoming a ghost that can't be hurt to summoning light to blind and burn your foes. As you level up, you can roll on this table more often, you can sense magic like my dog senses me eating a snack, and you can roll on the Wild Magic table as a reaction. This subclass sounds like so much fun. The best part of all of the Wild Magic effects is that they are 100% beneficial no matter what, so you will always be happy with what you get. The Path of Wild Magic adds some much-needed variety to the Barbarian, and I hope for the day when I too can get so angry that flowers sprout up from the ground and beat people up. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give a like, a comment, or subscribe. Look for a Patreon channel in the future, and have fun on your next adventure. Alright, bye-bye.